call, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. PSR is excited to present to you Last Call, featuring your boy, the pimp slap POD, Mike M.
Pimpin' ain't easy, but it's fun like money. Got bookies on the run, now it's time to get money. Not your typical way to ball. It's last call like some convicts waiting on the next draw. You can feel the tension. Did I mention? Fools better pay attention, cause we getting paid like a pension. T's on the ones and twos, we not the ones that lose. Mike Money's killers might even make the evening news.
And now, let's get to the picks.
We be pumping! Buzz Sports Radio, you know we be pumping!
What up, and welcome to Last Call. It's Wednesday, January 24th, 2024. I wasn't sure if it was Wednesday or Thursday for a second there. I just get excited when we win, and that's all I know. So winning, we did last night. And we're going to try to stack it up again tonight here. We had a really good opportunity there last night. Our guy, Billy Briz, of course, joining us and firing bullets all across the sports landscape. Going to do it again tonight. We got ourselves the NHL slate here. You know, kind of one of those rarities here for a Wednesday where we've got a pretty decent-sized NHL card. We've got a pretty decent-sized NBA card. And, of course, there's college hoops flying around. So get ready to get some cash. We're going to get paid tonight with this card that we've got rolling on out there. Shout out to my guy T on the ones and twos, getting us ready to roll tonight. And it's going to be a show. I know LJ's ready to come back and fire, and can't wait to have him join us for the association. And we've had a good run in the NBA this week, so we want to keep it going. Of course, we swept the board last night in the NBA. Not so great on the hockey side, but, you know, we want to know in college as well. So we'll give that recap here in just a few minutes, guys. But you know the deal here. Yeah, just getting in, rocking and rolling. Hit that like button for us. Help us support the channel, support the cause, support the crew here. We're trying to get up here and continue to grow this thing that is Pub Sports Radio. And we need everybody's help there. If you like the content, if you're cashing tickets, if you're just in here to hang out and break stones in the chat with everybody else, hit that like button for us. Hit that thumbs up and promote the cause. Shout out the crew that's here rocking already. Brian Watson, first guy in the chat tonight. Shout out to you, Brian Watson. Futon Betts dropping his first play out there. Our first guy to contribute a play today. Futon Betts likes that Wizards money line. And there's our guy, Joseph Thompson, rocking and rolling with us out there. Says, what up, Mikey? Easy cash last night on the best bet. And he's got a couple for us tonight here. He's going to give us that West Carolina over 132.5. He's giving us the Citadel spot over 133.5. So you're going to want to make sure you take note when our guy Joseph Thompson's firing plays out there. You want to write those things down and make sure you take advantage of them. So let's go. EQ says last call. Always great to see my guy EQ in the chat out there rocking with us. Flea Mathis, what up? Flea Mathis says, reporting in. Good to see you, Flea. Thanks for coming out here. Let's go. Ian Shaber's in the house. He's ready to rock. Marcus McCarthy, let's go. Let's go. What's he say? What's Brian Watson saying? No one like Maryland under 150. Anyone like, I'm sorry. It looked like New York. I couldn't figure that out, Brian Watson. What up, Dan Kelly's back in the house. Says no Tristan Thompson tonight. Jarrett Allen's overs are in play. He should get extra minutes if this game is close. Jose Sierra's out there. Jay Peasy, Subhuman Gaucho, Money Mike in the building. Let's slap these bookies around and remind them who's the boss. You got it, Subhuman. Wine time, my guy. Wine time. It's good to see you, homie. Hope you're doing well out there on the West Coast doing this thing. And Jay Smooth out there, the Smooth Balls play of the day, fellas and girls there. He's got it for us. He's giving us Richmond, George Washington under 146.5. Real Deals reporting says somebody slap me. And Wine Time says, bad day for me yesterday. I'm back today. Hey, that happens, man. We're not going to win them all, right? We got to just stay focused, stay the cause. I say the best day to get on a capper's plays is the day after a bad one, because they are way better than the numbers, and we all play to the back of our baseball card. So a bad day does not make a bad capper. We just can't let it happen multiple days in a row. And I know Wine Time is not the guy to do that. So Big Scott 510 says, what's good, Mike? Time to get these bags. Play he likes tonight. K-State plus 7.5, San Jose State plus 8.5, the Bucks -7, the Bruins money line, and the Jets money line for our guy Big Scott 510. Love the volume, my guy. Love some of those spots you got as well. We'll talk about a few of those there, and we got everything down there but the college basketball game. So we appreciate you sharing those plays out there. And Brian Watson says, boy, a lot of people on the Bruins. Probably because Carolina's in a bad spot right now, goaltending-wise, and all up and down the lineup. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll talk about that. Swears out there, says we be pumming. And Ian Sherber says, increase my NCAA unit size. Pretty excited. Spreadsheet and bankroll said, do it. Well, you got to do it. What up, Sammy Calmer? Good to see you, my guy, kicking ass and taking names over there in tennis and sharing them winners out there on Twitter. If you're not following our guy, Sammy Calmer, what are you doing? What are you doing overnight plays? When you're waking up in the morning and you're looking for that action to get in there, that guy's the guy to follow out there, Sammy Calmer. Gerald Jones says, what's good, Pub and Lowback fan? Best bet, he's on FAU Rice over 152. Nasty Nate's in the house. And there we go with our guy, Sammy, dropping some tennis action in there. You want to get in on this stuff here. Sabalenka, minus 2.5 games. I like that Sabalenka look, Sammy. You know, for the longest time, for like maybe a 3-year stretch, she just couldn't break through like this round when it came to tournament play, big tournament play. But last year she was able to get through it and keep moving, and she's been looking better ever since. So I like that Sabalenka spot. I'm going to write that down. I'm not against getting a little tennis action in there. Frankly, I like to watch him go out there and bang that ball around. Let's go. Director 97 says East Tennessee minus 10, East Carolina plus 3.5, Fade Wichita State, Troy minus 8.5, and gives us a little blessing there. Says best of luck, everybody. Patrick Burns in the house. Good to see him. And there's Director 97 gifting a membership for the squad. Get out there and get your hands on that one. Appreciate our guy, Director 97, giving the gift, blessing our action, and growing this pub sports community all by himself today here. One dono at a time, one membership at a time. Director 97, appreciate you always being here, sharing your looks, sharing your hard work, and sharing your loot, my guy. Thanks for helping us grow the base here. We're trying to get these troops moving, trying to build the base, build the troops, and take over this thing that is the sports gambling across this pub sports radio community. So appreciate you, my guy. Thank you much. Shout out. And again, enjoy your night tonight, giving us that blessing. Dan Kelly says, hey, Babe Ruth used to have the record for striking out most in a career. I agree, man. You know, it's that's the way it goes. You're not going to get them all. And, you know, you got to keep trying, though. That's the thing. You got to make sure that you keep in the fight. You can't run all the bullets out in the first round. There is what it comes down to. Gerald Jones says, got it, Sam, playing it. He's going to tail that Sammy Calmer action. And Swizz says, wake and bake, wake and cash. Let's go. Director 97 says, smash that like button, sub button, and bell. Join the membership if you're not a member already. Man, the boys had a little fun today over there in Jimmy the Bag show. Jimmy and Jose got the extended 2.5-hour horse race today. And I like it. You know, we see a lot of these little 30-seconders. It's like a quick dash, and before you even see what happened, it's over. I like the idea to come back and check in. So shout out to them boys for their creativity. Lots of fun to see what was going on out there and getting it done. So, yeah, if you haven't done so already, the memberships, we've got that second tier now, $9.99. Gives you discounts on the Pub Sports merch. You're going to want to merch up for this San Antonio trip here. That is Pubapalooza 3, just 2 months away. And you're going to get yourself entered into twice-a-week horse races where you got the opportunity to win $50 Wednesdays and Fridays. Go out there and member up if you haven't done so already. Appreciate everybody rocking with us. Kelly McKinnis says, afternoon, Mike. Money pop by to smash the like and see what's up. See your picks. Thanks, Kelly McKinnis. We appreciate you, my guy. And Patrick Burns says, anyone else like that San Jose State overs have gone over in 9 straight? You know, I have a general philosophy on the 9s. When we start getting to those 10s, I start to get a little gun shy. But I'm going to wish you good luck. We've already got the blessing from our guy, Director 97. Let's get into this thing, guys. You know what the story is here. We ask you to do 3 things to start this show off. 1, you get in and you're getting ready. Smash that like button for us. Help us let them know that you're out here promoting the brand with us. 2, grab a pen and paper, not just me, but the plays that LJ from Goat Town is going to come in and share with us. And then, of course, all you guys in the chat sharing out there, you're going to want to write those down. It's a long night of action tonight. The last college basketball game, I think, pops off at 11 p.m. Eastern. So we got 5 hours of sports that we're about to get into. And you want to make sure you have a strategy to navigate through this entire card tonight to get the most cash you can extract out of them bookies. And then last but not least, guys, make sure you throw your plays in the chat. We love to highlight them. We love to talk about them. We love to celebrate successes together. And if you can help put us on a winner, then it's all that much better for what we're doing here as well. So Caddy Daddy says 5-1. College basketball totals dropped on the show. Got 3 for you today, our guy Caddy Daddy. He's going George Washington over 135.5. That Mercer Citadel, there it is again, over 132.5. And Wofford Chattanooga over 148.5 out there. Locked these three earlier this morning. Got good CLV on all of them except for Wofford. And appreciate that, Caddy Daddy. Thank you much for sharing. Let's talk about this show tonight, guys. I already laid it out for you. We're going to lace the skates up and talk about the NHL, a couple college basketball picks, and then we're going to move on over to the professional hardwood there, the association that is National Basketball League, and we're going to bring in none other than Houston's finest to help us get that cash tonight. But before we do that, you guys know the deal here. We always recap every show. You know the haters get pissed when we start posting winners because they're not in this show seeing what we're doing. So, every day recaps, transparency, paramount to what we're doing here. And it was a good day yesterday. Win, lose, or draw. The bad days certainly are tough, especially when we have to carry them through a weekend. But last night was one of those good days, and I'm excited to recap this one. So we'll just kind of fire it off here, rapid pace. We want to keep that brisk pace. We want to get our guy rolling here. I know he's still got the pen to paper, making them plays for us. So we'll give him that opportunity, and we'll move through this card pretty quickly. But starting it off here, we got that Ottawa Senators win last night, sweat-free, no sweater. Tampa Bay was scoring goals before that game even ended, or before the show even ended. We talked about that game too. Something not quite right in that city of Philadelphia. The 215 might be in a little bit of trouble right now, but nonetheless, Tampa Bay got that when they hung on is what it came down to at the end, because Philly did fight back in that third period. I want to say the final ended up getting blown away though, and I think it was 6-3 was the final, if I'm not mistaken. Fell into the trap of traps, the cesspool of traps that is the public spot there. The Islanders -1. At least it was -1. I mean, it was even money spot, but we took the L. And Minnesota under 6. Another effing, I'm not sure the time we've got there, but another effing game where we end up getting the 7 goals because of a last-second score to prevent our push. So got my eyes on those 6s, and that happens to specifically be with the Capitals there. That's 2 in a row now. The Capitals have been sitting at that 6. And just put it in the old bottom mouth. So we want to watch out for that. We lost a 3-leg parlay in hockey. We had the Buffalo Rangers, Calgary spots. How about Calgary? Losing that game, up to 3-1, comes back and loses the game outright. Buffalo, just got beat up right off the gate. The score was misleading because the Ducks were kicking their ass the entire game, and the Rangers got the job done. So, I'm sorry, the Rangers did not get the job done. They blew it at the end as well. So, then we went on to a bunch of wins, though, right? We got that Akron spot. I talked to you guys about that line functionality. When you're coming off a game where you beat Eastern Michigan by 5 or more points and you're on a spread of 5 or higher, you want to fade away on the team that just played Eastern Michigan. That was an Akron spot for us last night. Akron -7.5 gets that win by 9. We cashed that Nets first half +2. We talked about that thing. There was some late-minute buyback on the other side there. The Knicks got that late-minute buyback. It dropped from 5.5 to 3.5. Then the show popped off, and we talked about that thing moving to 4 and 4.5. So they expected that to be the floor. It was, in fact, the floor, and we did win that first half. But, shout out to anybody that missed that full game. We're going to hang in there and try to get it back for you guys today. Then we went to double dipper. We got a double dip with New Orleans. This was that exact same line functionality I talked about the night before with the Kings game on the Daily Sesh. We had New Orleans first half, full game, never in doubt. What, they win that thing by 35 points, I think, and they were up like 15 or 16, I think, in the first half as well. So bang, bang, cash, and then our little fun spot there to finish off the night. It is fun for me to go out there and finish off the night watching a little player prop parlay. It gives me a little more to do than just sit there and try to smack away on live bets. And hey, we got it, right? We got the James Harden over 8.5 assists and Russell Westbrook over 5.5 rebounds at +204. So that closed out the day. It was a nice little 7-3 day on a 10-pack of plays out there. Profitable, plus units, multiple units out there to continue to grow these bankrolls. And we're going to try to do it again tonight. We're going to have some fun across the league. A couple of spots and specifically a parlay spot in hockey tonight there. The late night spot of the card there to try to parlay and have a little fun to watch that game. But we've also got, like I said, 2 plays in college basketball. And we got a clip for you guys in the NBA because we're bringing on there. He rocks the association. Love it. Players, props, sides, totals, volume, everything I look for in a guy that I want to gap with and compare notes with. And we always have a lot of fun doing it. So make sure you're staying tuned for that, guys. We're going to push this boat off the docks and start floating this thing down the river. Before we do, though, we need you to hit that like button if you're just getting in here. Make sure you show the support, show the cause. Kelly McKinnon says, love your JMU pick too, Mike. Tailing. Yeah, so guys, one of the things that I've done a little different just to kind of keep it going here. Jimmy the Bag has me on Wednesdays and Thursdays to talk some college basketball. And I try to mix it up here because there's a lot of difference in the way that I traditionally go about the cap of hockey, any sport, using some of this late line movement. The values kind of get punched in there versus the morning. So I try to change it up for these afternoon shows and change it up. I did tonight. So we're going to have 2 fresh looks for you guys. It's going to be a full college basketball card for me, but looked across the slate today. I thought it was a pretty productive slate, an opportunity to get that cash. So, we're going to do that. You'll see fresh plays every time I get on a show. I'm not just going to come back out there and regurgitate a similar play that I gave out prior to. So might be the same game, hint tonight with Nevada, but it's not going to be the same play that you're going to see out there. And that's just about keeping it fresh, treating you guys for coming back in and hearing what we have to say as far as content. Nobody wants to hear the old repeat. So we're going to keep it fresh and keep it rolling. Nasty Nate says, I'll be back after the ice skating segment. All right, Nasty Nate. I mean, hey, you know what the deal is, my guy. Appreciate you dropping in nonetheless. And hey, man, we're cashing in hockey. I don't know, Nasty Nate. There's nothing wrong with it. We're going to get on your Bruins tonight. Got to go Boston, but that's okay. That's your prerogative, my guy. Caddy Daddy says, Flames last night. My God, what a disgrace. The underdog, I want to say the underdogs won. I forgot the number now. It was 8 or 9 times in a row in Calgary. So they're used to let them down to underdog spots out there. They've been an underdog in quite a few spots because of how their schedule started out. But, it is what it is. Calgary, we're going to move on from that game. And Eric Jones says, Ottawa under 6.5, cash it. Ian Shaver faded Calgary. Can't believe I caught that one. Nice job, my guy. Patrick Burns says under in the Kings game, question mark. We're going to talk about it. We'll get to that spot as well. And our guy Cheshire Cat's in the chat. Good to see you, Cheshire. Let's go. Let's rock this thing. Julian Cesario says, Mike M. What up, my guy, Julian? Good to see you here. And let's get into some puck here. We're going to talk about this thing. We got the skates laced up. We're ready to go. And let's talk about this game tonight. You guys know the deal. Right-hand side of the screen, you see the games that we're covering. Top of the screen, you're going to see the game itself that we've got the side on or the total or the prop. Right-hand side here, new piece that our boy T has added, all about him keeping it tight and right, and that he's doing for us here. He's giving us that goalie look out there. You'll see the goaltender, the starting goaltender, at least as projected right before the show. I do a refresh right before the show. Sometimes it changes. Sometimes we're still questionable. 7:30 spots somehow still questionable, but it is what it is. And then their record out there. So let's talk about this first game. The bottom of the screen, you'll see the splits. Trying to give you guys all the data, all the content you need here to make an informed and educated decision when you're making these bets here, depending on how you go about it, right? So some guys don't care much about the line movement, much like I don't when it comes to the NHL. And that's just because I've spent my entire life kind of around that. So, I feel like I've seen a lot of these guys play college hockey, junior hockey, minor league hockey. Now they're in the majors. And, it's amazing what you can kind of catalog over time as you start doing this thing over and over. But let's talk about this first game. We're going to drop it in. We're going to look specifically at this Arizona-Florida game. The Florida Panthers finally breaking a 4-game losing streak out there. And they're going out there against the Arizona Coyotes, who do have a 2-game winning streak going on out there. Thing about this game is they got Vejmelka going back in goal. They threw Vejmelka on a 5-game backup assignment. Normally, this Arizona team has been going 1-2. They started riding the hot hand until the wheels fell off with Connor Ingram at the end of November into December. The wheels did fall off. Then they went to Vejmelka. It wasn't any better. He's 3.32 goals against average, 89.5% saving, and a 6-10-2 record. The other side of things, Bobrovsky coming back in. And I think this is what the doctor ordered. Bobrovsky got the backup assignment there, specifically the Stolars, and I think that made sense. He was getting a little tired, getting a little run down as far as shots that he was facing out there. And it gets a little daunting when you start facing, this kind of losing streak, and you're the guy that's in the net every single night. So they gave him the night off against Nashville, just what the doctor ordered. They pick up the win. They got the taste of blood, and they're going to go out there and look to feast on this Arizona Coyotes desert dog spot here. Bobrovsky did allow 3 or more goals in his last 2 starts. So again, that was where I think they recognized it and said, this guy's a 2.5 goals against average guy. And even before that, he was around a 2.3. But that wear and tear just kind of wore him down, and he needed that break. This is a big spot that we're following again, guys. I've talked about it. There's 2 teams that we want to capitalize on when they've had a physical game. The Arizona Coyotes coming off a 20-plus hit spot, 6-33 in those games out there, and they're losing by a goal and a half a spot. So this was a great opportunity. I've talked about it before. I'm not taking puck lines at -1.5. Look what happens across some of these bigger teams out there. Puck lines at -1.5 that are -130s end up losing outright. They're baiting you in. But the thing about this line, if you look at the -1, a lot of guys take the -1 to knock the juice down. They didn't knock a lot of juice down. It was still sitting around -165 when I looked earlier today. So the fact that they're suggesting this is going to be a regulation spot, even still sits at -165. I think what happens here, if they're assuming it's going to be regulation, we're assuming it's going to be a -1 cover, that we're going to have an empty net opportunity. This looks like a 3-1, 4-1 type of finish out there for the Florida Panthers. We're going to open up the NHL card tonight with a -1.5. We're going to lay the puck line, and we're going to capture this +118. I just want to double check and make sure that's still the best number that's out there. I just drop it. So the best number out there now is +110. That's going to be the number that we'll take out here. Again, a good sign as we're moving closer to puck drop that it's continuing to move in our direction. Generally, again, not that we care so much about that in the cap, just kind of another little cherry on top to support the cause for that Florida Panthers -1.5. Bounce back with a taste of blood in their mouths. Let's roll on game number 2 we're going to talk about here. And I'm going to give my brother credit for this one. He talked about this Canadian teams playing each other. When 2 Canadian teams have a total of 6.5, it goes to the over. And when it's 6s, it does not go to the over. So this isn't a Washington Capitals spot. This is very much a Toronto, Winnipeg Jet spot out here. But again, kind of keeping along the theme of goaltenders getting some rest. We've got Brossoit coming back in goal. He was the backup for 4 straight games for Winnipeg. And look, the thing about giving him the rest is, I wouldn't even using the word serviceable is disrespectful. The guy's 7-3-1 in the NHL. He's 2.18 goals against average with a 92.3% save. We talked the other day that 225, 23 kind of is that ideal number, and he's on the right side of the ideal number. The other side of things with Samsonov, 6-3-6. That's a lot of losses. That third column means that they're just not winning behind this guy. That's a 3.69 goals against average, well above the mark that we're looking for at 86.6%. But, the Winnipeg Jets have been a superior under team. If you go back to Christmas, the Winnipeg Jets are on a 1-9-3 run to the under, 3 pushes because they're getting a ton of 6s out there. So, ordinarily we've taken these Washington Capitol spots from 6.5s down to the 6s to keep the push and play. I think it's a similar concept tonight. There are 6.5s out there. They're a little bit juicy, but I don't think it's going to matter in this spot here. Brossoit, 2 or less goals in 6 straight starts for that young man out there. And that's the thing about the difference between that last game where they took Bobrovsky off the ice after getting lit up. They're taking Brossoit off the ice because, they've got Hellebuck and he's in top form. And now they've got this 1-2 punch that's really difficult to get out there and score goals on with that 2 or less in 6 straight games. 5-1, 95.2% save percentage for Brossoit as a backup. So think about that. We always talk about the guests that come on the show, how difficult it is to come in just a single day and have a plus unit positive record. And it's very similar for a backup. You're coming in a single spot at random in some cases, and you're carrying a positive strength of record out there. Not just positive, but a 7-3-1, 92.3 on a 95.2% run. It's kicking the shit out of everybody. When you look at the other side of it, Samsonov is in net for his second straight start, but he did have a productive game there against Seattle. He stopped 16 of 17 shots for 94.1% save percentage. And look, fresh off that, situation where we just saw that 6.5 that went over with that Toronto spot there. I think this is the reverse side of things. I think we see a little regression. Toronto's been kind of playing above their metrics, in my opinion, if you look at it here. We know at home they're not the strongest of teams. I'm sorry, it was a 3-1 Seattle game, but prior to that was 6-4 Vancouver and 4-3 Calgary, 4-2 Edmonton. They've kind of gone through their lumps out there, but they're scoring, 2 to 3 goals is around their average in the last stretch out here. So I think the 6 is right in the wheelhouse for us, and it's another plus money spot for us to get on this card. So I'm going with this Winnipeg Jets. The fact that this is a 6 down from the 6.5 makes me love it even more because, again, Canadian teams on the 6.5 or greater are, I think it's 16-6 now to the over, but when they're on that 6, it's 65% to the under. We're going to roll with that under 6 plus money spot for this Winnipeg Jets game, and we're going to keep it rolling here. Lots of games to cover, lots of spots out there. That's a DK spot, by the way. DraftKings has that spot out there. Let's go. Let's talk about Nasty Nate's team. I know. Oh, he's still out here. Look, he's still out there for us. So we got our guy Nasty Nate out there. We're going to talk about his team next year. And this is just a mismatch of mismatches. We'll keep it short, sweet, and to the point. We got Martin going in goal for Carolina. He stinks. He's 3-8-1. He's 3.64 goals against average with an 88.6% save percentage. 0-2 in his last two, 87.3% save percentage, and a 3.58 goals against average. So as bad as his numbers are, he's down even worse in his last couple of outings. So specifically against Boston, he does not match up well against Boston. I think the strategy for Carolina when they throw a guy like this in there against Boston is they're feeding him to the Wolves. They're punting. They know they're going to get beat up in this game. They don't want to mess with it. They're like, hey, screw it. If we catch the win, God bless us. But if we don't, we know we're probably going to take this lump, and let's just save our best guys for the games that we can go out there and win. That's not a bad strategy. I mean, it kind of shows defeatist attitude, but what are you going to do? At the end of the day, Allmark going in. Damn rightly ain't it's Allmark for the Boston Bruins at 14-5-2. Now here's the numbers we want to see. At 2.8 goals against average, 91.2% save percentage. And at the end of the day, this one comes down to me. Just all the check marks support a Boston spot. Boston ranks higher than Carolina in goals scored per game, power play goal percentage, shooting percentage, goals allowed per game, and penalty kills percentage as well. So the opportunity here for, regardless of the goaltender at this point, the fact that Martin's in goal out there is the feed him to the Wolves opportunity. Bruins probably go on and win this game by 2 or 3 goals as well, but minus 135, I didn't want to mess around with the regulation spots or the minus. I want this win. And I think minus 135, it's going to be our first price spot on the card because we've got 2+ money opportunities already. And I'm comfortable with that. I think that's a fine opportunity for us to dig in and get this cash. So short, sweet, to the point, no sense in belaboring it. Boston is a powerhouse, and Carolina right now is struggling. Jared TG says, yeah, Carolina's my team, but we're going Boston tonight. And Joseph Thompson out there giving the donut. Giving the $9.99 dono from our guy Joseph Thompson says, get that cash tonight. Kansas State, Iowa State over 135. Easy money. Not only is he blessing our action with a dono, he's giving me action in the dono. Now that is a class act out of our guy Joseph Thompson. Appreciate you, my guy. JPZ says, love it. Bruins, Florida, Bradley plus 201 parlay. And, Cheshire Cat says, I hate to keep bringing this up, but Matthew Tkachuk played a playoff game with a broken sternum. He couldn't even get himself off the bench by himself. That's a man's sport right there. That's truly a man's sport there in the NHL. Let's keep it going. Our guy Ronnie Ambrugi is in the house there. Says Jets regulation for our guy Ronnie. Appreciate that. Look, my guy. Let's go. Let's talk about this next game. Want to keep this brisk pace. Got a lot to cover. Vinzi. What up, Vinzi? Says, Mike, when you have a bet like Boston at minus 135 and your unit's 100, do you bet 135 to win 100? I typically bet on the to win amount. So, well, let me take a step back. I either want to win 100 or wager the 100 if it's a dog. Okay, so a lot of guys do it differently. A lot of people do it different. It's a great question, Vinzi, and it's worth talking about. Sometimes if I'm going for those big 50-1 parlays or 35-1, I want to have fun with it, and I get all that, and it's great to win. $100 pays me $2,500, but sometimes it's like a $5 investment to get yourself that 100 if you're trying to get back to that 100 unit mark. So bigger long shot parlays, I'll make those usually for the amount to win whatever my unit size is. But when it comes to, this Boston spot, I'll wager the 135 to win 100. And, with this next spot you'll see on the screen here, Washington plus 215. This would be a spot where I wagered the full $100 unit to get that plus 215 as well. So whatever your unit size is what I would use in this case. Now, there's some other ways to go about it with this Washington game. I'll break it down for you guys, but the plus 1.5 is a minus 110. If you want to be a little less risk adverse, then, I certainly support that. I'll tell you why I think Washington's going to get this game out right. But at the end of the day, you got to make your own decisions. And then Washington plus 1, I looked at that as well at the plus 135, but I want the whole enchilada here. I thought with this hockey card, it's a pricey card across the slate. We got minus 245s, minus 250s, minus 190s, and all the cash coming in on these things. I mean, 99% of the bets and 99% of the cash on the Colorado Avalanche. No, thank you. No, thank you in this case whatsoever. But this might be one of those things where you said, hey, I'm only going to do the half a unit to end up winning a full unit. You can manage your bankroll, however you do it. You just have to be consistent. I said this the other day to somebody, like when you're playing blackjack, you're a blackjack player and you get the 16, you either hit or you stay on 16, but you got to do it every single time because the law of averages will work in your favor. So Jonathan Manson says yesterday's card was better. I agree, but we still have some meat on the bone tonight, and we got some plus money meat. So let's talk about this one. We got to get this show moving here and get our boy on screen to give us them looks. Washington, Colorado. We've got Washington. We've got Lindgren going in goal. Here's those numbers. 227, 92.6% save percentage. Certainly in the tier of elite goaltending for Washington. On the other side of things, Georgiev, 25, 11, and 2. 298 goals against average, 89.5% saving. You would argue that Colorado has a home ice advantage, and I don't disagree. But a couple things going on here. Washington has a 6. They have fucked me on this 6 the last couple show plays that I put out there. I wasn't going to touch the total. But what I did look at as I was looking here, when they're on a 6, they're 4-15-1 to the under. Okay. We've taken a couple L's with that spot. So we're going to kind of table that one until it catches some steam again. The other side of things, though, 14-6 straight up in those spots. Their average here, 2.6 to 2.1. They're getting those wins because it's a lower, the league is expecting, Vegas is expecting a lower scoring by setting it at 6 and not the 6.5s that we've kind of come to accustomed to in the NHL. Now we see the 6 out there. And again, that 2.6 to 2.1 shows strength in goaltending for Lindgren. Do they need to go out there and win every single game in this position? No. But I think tonight, I get it. They're on the second leg of a back-to-back. They just played Minnesota last night. They just lost 5-3. I kind of liked what I saw out of that at the end, though. They didn't just quit and take a 5-1 loss. They kept pumping goals in at the end of that game. Screwed my 6, but showed me a little something in terms of the way of life. And, oh, by the way, I know Colorado has won 5 of their last 6. They're second in scoring in the NHL, but Georgiev's struggling right now. It's his third start in a row. They are 6-3 in Georgiev starts here as of late, but 88.5% saving, 3+ goals in all but one of his games. Why can't those numbers mismatch and it becomes a Washington spot tonight? Furthermore, Colorado coming back off a 5-game road trip. You guys have heard me say this before. The hardest game to play in a 5-game road trip is that first game home, and that's very much the box that we're about to check here tonight for this Colorado team. They've got the Kings on deck. Then they've got the Rangers. Then they've got the Devils. Then they've got Carolina. Then they've got Florida and a 6-game road trip in the pack. It's a weird scheduling spot for Colorado. Easy for them to look past this Washington team. Everybody's thinking they're on the second leg of that back-to-back, but I like this opportunity, and I'm going to step into this one because it's now 220. Let me just double-check these numbers, but at 220, love the opportunity. I think there's just too much value in a spot where we've seen Washington shows a winning record when they project lower scoring games. So plus 220 is the best number out there for BetMGM. Let's lock that in. Let's keep moving. I'm running behind. We got the last spot in the NHL. We're going to bang out 2 college basketball picks and get our boy on here. So don't want to keep him waiting long. Last game on the card we're going to talk about for you guys. I'm looking back at this thing here. I got a parlay. I'm going to late night parlay. It's kind of become my thing. I enjoy doing it. I have a lot of fun with it. And look, I'm going to take a little same game opportunity here with the LA Kings and Kempe over 3.5 goals. Kempe, whatever you want to call him for us. Big reason for this thing. We've got Levi going in goal. Now this is the second leg of that back-to-back for Buffalo. Different story though. They just played the Ducks. They got gassed out right off the gate by the Ducks. And Devin Levi in goal at 8.72, 3.32 goals against average. Not the numbers we want to see with that 88.9%. Cam Talbot, the best goaltender they have for the LA Kings, 2.43 goals against average, 91.5% save percentage. Here's the deal. McClellan, the coach of the LA Kings, who would imagine this guy's on the hot seat? But I think he is on the hot seat right now. It's an opportunity where he's got to get the bus in gear. They started the season out so hot, and they've fallen off the radar. You look at Kemp, as far as his numbers in terms of projection, he's the second most played forward in minutes. This is the player side of the same game parlay. Second forward in minutes logged in the LA Kings lineup. He plays in the top line, the top power play. He even gets penalty kill minutes out there. He's second on the team in shots at 134. And what happened in this last game there with the San Jose Sharks, where they started to fall off the wayside, is the coach feels that desperation. The heat lamp's on this guy. The seat is hot. And he made a lineup change. He went back to the Byfield, Kemp, Kopitar lineup that they've had in the past, with Kemp in the center and the rock of that foundation. What happened in that change? Kemp gets himself 9 shots on goal. So 9 shots. We need this guy to get over 3.5. We're going to put him in there with the LA Kings. and it's a little plus 220 same game parlay to get the job done. A little fun for late night here. Let's keep it rolling out there, everybody. Appreciate you guys. If you haven't done so, smash that like button for us. Cheshire Cat says Tate Thompson needs to go to the AHL. Mel, Avs winning tonight. Mel, get out of here. Not literally, Mel, just figuratively, but come on. Come on. Let's see that plus 215. Mel, I like my record there when you're against me on the Colorado team. So not much of a margin, but I'll take it right now. But Patrick Burns says Sharks goalie performance last night and Monday was amazing. That's a great observation, Patrick Burns. The Sharks have made us some cash, so I wish I was on them last night. But Michael Johnson says, Mike, do you think shots on goal can be adjusted in favor of the house after the game is over? They don't come out right away until they talk to the league. Not true. Not entirely true. I mean, look, at this point, I'm not expecting him to get to 4. I'm expecting him to get to 6. So they're going to take 3 of them away from the guy. But it's a fair point. It's a very fair point. I just don't think that's the case because my books usually come off those same game parlays pretty quickly. So great observation, great points across the board. And Caddy Daddy likes the Canucks money line and the Chicago-Seattle under 1.5 goals in the first 10 minutes out there. Look at that little spot, bringing it down to minus 137. Caddy Daddy, I'm writing that one down. I like that look, my guy. That's a creative way to get it done. Let's get rolling here. We got our boy waiting, and that is just darn rude. So I want to jump in. We're going to talk some college basketball here. We got to move fast on this thing. I will move fast for you guys. You know that we got to keep that brisk pace, and I want to continue to recognize all you guys and what you have going on out there. But I know our boys got some spots to give us that are going to get to the window tonight, so I do not want to waste much more time. Let's talk about this first game that I put on the card for college basketball. Interesting little spot here. It's a little 7 p.m. Eastern opportunity. Kind of dug into the archives for this one and kind of makes sense. We've got 44% of the bets, 80% of the cash on Lafayette. The road Lafayette favorite has now moved down as many as 2 points. There's still a 3.5 out there. There's 3s and 2.5s across the board now. And we're taking Loyola, Maryland in this spot here. How about this one? Teams that trailed by 10 or more points at halftime that came back to win in overtime have gone 37% against the spread, going all the way back to 2010. 14 years of data. When they're down by 10 or more at halftime, they go on to win in overtime. They're gassed. Think about it. Legs are tired. It gets away from them. Here we've got the home dog. The big money's pumping Lafayette. They're making it more attractive to bang on Lafayette. We're going to take Loyola in that first game plus 3.5. And the second game on the college card I wanted to drop into for you guys here. Again, keep it short and sweet. We'll keep this thing moving. Nice little trend I found. We talked about the first half trend with Marquette. Let me tell you about this first half trend with Nevada. First of all, we know Nevada's coming off of 3 straight losses. They got to be motivated. They're coming back home. They got a Colorado State team that does shoot incredibly well, but they're on the road and they don't necessarily play stellar on the road. The best, opportunity out there, Nevada Wolfpack ranked 37th in the country in the margin in the first half of a basketball game at plus 6.3 points out there. We got the minus 1.5. I'm seeing 2s and 2.5s now as well. I'm not against those. I would say I wouldn't go past 3 in this case, but anything in that window, get it now. Anything in that window, there's a 1.5. It's a little juicier. There's 2s and 3s. And the number grows to plus 11.6 when they're at home in the first half. They should absolutely put the boots to the ass of Colorado State in this first half. Whether they win the full game or not is TBD. I like this look for the under, but I think Nevada finds a way to come out here and start strong to get the job done to start the game off. So let's get it rolling. That's as quick as I can go through college basketball and give you guys 2 games. Not to dismiss the trends and the analytics that we have and talk to you guys about it. I did want to say as well, when you look at the cash flow that's out there on these things, right now we've got this 87% and 93% of the cash on Nevada. The line is moving in the Nevada direction. So things that we want to see. Plus, we're getting action on the under right now. Lots of cash coming in on the over, but the numbers dropped 3 points as well. We correlate the unders to the favorites. So give me that Nevada first half spot. Let me just do a quick line shop here. Got to be fair with these numbers. Don't just want to throw out what I got earlier today. I still do see a 1.5 at Caesars at minus 110 now. I see 2.5s, and I'm starting to see a 3 at Bet River. So comfortable taking any and all of those spots out there, but let's go. Let's get it rolling out there. Marino Mexicano, Pip, I came in late. What do you think about Winnipeg puck line minus 1.5? Yeah, some of the guys are on regulation, not against Winnipeg in this spot. I just went to the under 6 Marino Mexicano. So listen, I want to bring on our next guest. He's patiently waiting. He's going to be going to be mad at me here if I keep him on ice like this too much longer. So I got to do a better job getting through this thing. But we're going to bring him on, our Wednesday show host. You guys know him as LJ from H-Town, H-Town's finest. LJ from Goattown. He's been reanointed here on Last Call. He's sporting ourselves a 31-26 record, plus 3.37 units on his shows. And that guy loves to fire volume, loves to fire side props and totals. Let's welcome in our Wednesday guest, LJ, our resident Wednesday guy. How are you, my friend?
Doing great, Mike. Glad to be here with you. Always on these Wednesdays, knocking out this NBA card. So shout out to the chat, everybody joining today. Let's see if we can get some money, ladies and gentlemen. So let's dive into it.
You know what's going to happen, LJ? I tell you 640 one of these times, and I'm going to be sitting there at 625 going, oh, man, where's LJ? So sorry to keep you waiting, my friend, but we've got ourselves a nice NBA slate tonight. And I was going back and forth with LJ today. I said, hey, we just swept the board last night in the NBA. You know, you better be ready. We had a 1-0 spot on the sesh, and here we go. And he said he had a banging night last night as well. So we got a couple guys fired up to cap this NBA card with you guys tonight. You'll see the right-hand side. We're going to go through them all. We might not have plays on them, but we'll give you at least our strategy or what we think. There's any trends out there, how we think the game's going to evolve. And we will keep a brisk pace because we do have 2 7:00 starts. But we start with the Charlotte Hornets and the Detroit Pistons. LJ, I can't believe they are now in the favorite role. I'm not sure what happened. I don't know where the moon, the stars, and the planets must all be in alignment tonight, but it opened at -1. We've got 54% of the bets, 69% of the cash on the Detroit Pistons, and the back number's dropping. Opens at 234, down to 230s, despite 68% of the bets on the over and 60% of the cash on the over. And I'm told there's a LaMelo Ball sighting tonight. So is that the case? Can you tell me what's going on?
Yeah, I was going to take LaMelo. I don't know. Is he still active right now? Is he out?
I heard there was. I heard he was going to play.
Okay, well, if he's playing,
I saw his numbers shoot up from 27.5 to 28.5.
Oh, well, yeah, I already jumped on the 27.5, -106. I already jumped on it just for the fact that Terry Rozier's got traded. So that opens up a lot of offensive opportunities for LaMelo. And I'm also going to take his over 3.5 3-pointers, -129. He's hit that 2 out of his last 3 games. He's averaging 9 3-point attempts since he's came back into the lineup. So he puts up the shots at the 3-point line. So I'm going to take a shot that he cashes 4 of those. I think he's going to go over his points as well. He's hit it 3 out of his last 5 games. So I'm just going to stick to that, man. I didn't take a side. Both of these teams are ass, bottom of the league. You know, Detroit has been playing well as of late, though. 10-2 against the spread in the first half, last 12. 12-1 against the spread first quarter, last 13. So they've been coming out good. That's probably why they're the favorite, because they've been playing well, but I'm not going to jump on the side. Just going to stick to LaMelo, who's going to be the best player on the court tonight.
Yeah, we found cash with the Pistons there when they were 13 and 14-point dogs against teams like the Bucks and such. But, interesting number here. Detroit Pistons 0-3 straight up as a favorite when they're losing by 12 points a game and failing to cover by 12.7 points out there. But it's kind of that inverse spot there because the Hornets are 0-6 straight up against the spread when they're on the road as a single-digit dog, losing by 18.8 points a game. So I don't know if it's possible for neither team to win this game, but I like the prop angle. I like how you're digging in and attacking here. We got Ball over 27.5 at -106, over 3.5 threes at -125 for our guy LJ to open the card up tonight. And can't say I was looking at that Ball spot and I saw the numbers starting to climb, and I've had such a good run in the NBA that I want to keep it rolling. And I didn't want to get too cute with that one. I was almost going to take the Detroit Pistons. I thought to myself, but then I took a step back and I was like, whoa. This is like a 16-point swing, and they're pretty good. They don't just have to win by 1 bucket. They got to win by possession and a bucket. And 2 buckets. So tricky spot there for the total. But let's talk T-Wolves and Wizards here. This line opened up at 11.5. We're catching action on the T-Wolves, and it's dropping. So 70% of the bets, 96% of the money on the Timberwolves for this line to be dropping, moving towards the Wizards. The back number dropping as well. Again, lower scoring spot out there. 69% of the bets, 64% of the cash on the over. And we have some movement towards the under in this game, LJ. Tell us how you think about this game. What's the pace look like? Do you have any angles and sides you want to attack for us to get paid? Oh, you're muted, my guy.
So, yeah, I have a prop and a total in this one. I believe the game's going to go over, in my opinion. I believe that Mike Conley is out, so that opens up a little fast pace for the Wolves. I think they're going to have to run and score because the Wizards give up a lot of points, but they can also score as well. So, for that reason, I jumped on the over, 229.5. I got it at minus, what did I get it at? Minus 110. 14-8 to the over on the road team as the Wolves are. And the Wizards are 11-7-1 to the over at home. Plus, I've been tracking a trend that if they're over 9+ dogs, they trend to the over. I don't have the exact number, but I know it was a good trend to them over when they were 9+ dogs. So I'm going to trust that trend comes into effect tonight. And I'm also going to jump on Anthony Edwards. I got him at over 5.5 minus 121. But I see that the profits went up simply because Mike Conley has been ruled out. So I could give it out as a play for the show. Minus 121 is what I got, but that's not the current number now because they've raised the prop to 6.5 assists. So I don't know how you want to do that. If you should still want to count the one I got or, the current one, because I'm not going to take a 6.5. I'll take the 5.5 because it's minus. I got it at minus 121 right before Mike Conley got ruled out. So
yeah, I suppose we should probably go with would the 6.5 sway you off it at that point? Would you
that's too much. Yeah, that's one too much for me because he's only averaging 5 in his last 6 games. So I can't jump it up just because Mike Conley's out. So I can't make that official. But as far as the total, over 229.5 is an official play for me.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean it's I love the look, and I think it's maybe a live spot for guys out there in the chat. It's just something that's, if we can't, I hate to move the number, especially if you got it, but and especially because of the player room, great insight. That's why we have you as our prop guy in this game. I'll tell you this though. So that over, as far as that over is concerned, the Wizards 15-0-1 to the over versus a West team they beat in the previous meeting by less than 25 points as a dog. So some overaction makes a lot of sense there. The over is not just going over by a little, it's going over by almost 14 points. So I love the fact that this is dropping down. We see some guys in the chat saying Harbaugh to the Chargers is official. Wow. What's interesting is earlier today, he canceled his second trip to Atlanta. So how about that? Harbaugh out of Michigan, got his title, and now moving on, getting back. That's the natural order of things. That makes a lot of sense. He always wanted to be in the NFL, but what he did in San Fran. Yeah, now he's got himself an opportunity, and it'll be exciting to see what them boys can do now. Them Chargers are always explosive. They got plenty of weapons. Hopefully they fix the injury situation out there because it seems like, man, they got 4 or 5 guys in the wide receiver category that get injured every year. They got 2 or 3 running backs that get injured every year. It's the 4th guy down the depth chart that's playing right around the Thanksgiving time frame. So hopefully they can figure that piece of it out. But Patrick Burns says another win for Ohio State. They don't need any more wins. I did see Ohio State. Ryan Day is bitching because they only have $11 million to allocate towards NIL dollars. And he's like, that is woefully neglectful at this point. So $11 million isn't enough to win college athletes to your squad there, LJ. Can you believe that? Also, one last spot. The Timberwolves are 16-1 against the spread on the road versus a team they lost to as a favorite with a win total that's between 25 and 67%. So no official for me on that one. We've got our guy LJ on the over. I may circle back and tag that over with our guy LJ. I like that look. And let's keep it rolling. Let's talk about this next game on the docket. 7:30 start. We've got the Memphis Ja Morantless Grizzlies going out there against the Miami Heat, on the road against the Miami Heat. 68% of the bets, 56% of the cash on the Grizz, and the line moving down. The line is showing some vulnerability to the Grizzlies at this point. Then as far as the total, opens at 212.5. We're seeing 214s and 215s. 63% of the public on the over, but 73% of the cash on the under in this game, LJ. Kind of perplexing here. A little pros versus Joe's, side angle when it comes to the total. But tell us what you think about this game.
Yeah, I eventually stayed off. It's just too much conflicting things for me as far as like Memphis. They don't have any players. I believe they're starting to tank. I don't even believe they should win any more games. Like, you might as well just try to go after the number 1 pick, to be honest with you, because you have nobody in your roster. Desmond Bain cannot carry your team. I'm sorry. So, especially against a defensive team like Miami. But the reason why I stayed off of Miami is because they've lost 3 in a row. And they burned me the last couple of times, taking them in the first quarter. So I'm just going to stay off, and they're going to have to prove to me they can get back on track with that. So for that reason, I just stayed off. I had Bam circled PRA over 35.5. He hit that the last game, but 4-1 to that number the last 5. But like I said, I've just been burned by Miami so much as well. I just have to stay off. They're on my no bet list right now, so they're going to have to prove to me that they can get back on the list with a couple of wins because they're reeling right now. So I stayed off.
Gotcha. This is real time. This is what happens real time when LJ drops a play out there, and I like it, and it's starting in 8 minutes, and I'm going to have to take a moment to make sure that I take a swat on this thing here because I like what he had to say about that. So I'm just jumping in here and making sure I take advantage. I want to get this number and get that cash. But I did notice the Grizzlies 118-1 against the spread when they're on the road versus a team off a road game with a line shorter than 6.5 points. So there's some factors there that might support taking the Heat. Just seems like a lot of points. On the other side of things, the Heat are 10-0-1 against the spread at home when they're on a 3 or greater game losing streak. So Heat is a big favorite on this losing streak. Might suggest and make a lot of sense that it's the play, but I'm just going to get there. At the end of the day, it's not a spot I wanted to get wrapped up in. I don't want to have my cash tied into it at this point of the night. So I figured, again, more spots on the card to get involved with. Got a big hockey card for me, and we'll just keep it moving on here. Again, so fortunate to have the size of the slate we did for a Wednesday because it's usually like 2 hockey games and then maybe 8 or 9 NBA games, and then I got to get a little more selective, but. Action I have on this next game here, Cavaliers and the Bucks. I already saw our girl Kelly V shouting out in the chat that coach is getting fired in there for Milwaukee. We'll talk a little bit about that too, but this line opened at 6.5. We haven't seen a lot of movement. 52% of the bets, 73% of the cash on the Bucks. The back number 239 is dropping down to 237.5, and even 236.5 out there. 39% of the bets, 83% of the cash. So the bigger bettors coming in on that under, and Vegas is showing concern for it here, LJ. We've got a lot to kind of dig into with this game. Obviously, the coach is getting fired. I don't know if it was a meme or not, but they were saying something about how the coach took a shot at Giannis's brother and said he's committing insurance fraud because he's out there saying he's an NBA player, and he kind of humiliated him in front of the rest of the squad. I don't know if you heard that or not, but I did read that, and we know the coaches after they get let go, teams tend to loosen up and play hard. What do you think about that game?
Yeah, I believe it's going to come into fruition. And I see Bucks first quarter, first half full game. I see definitely a trifecta, but personally, I'm just going to stick to the first half. The best number you could get me, I'm on it. Bucks 16-7 against the spread in the first half at home. That is a shared record with the New Orleans Pelicans. So, not to mention, the Celtics are one of the best teams in the first half too. So those 3 teams are the top teams in the first half. So I'm going to jump on the Bucks simply because I think it's a spot play. I think the locker room is going to be rejuvenated. The fact that Griffin is out of there, I think the players are going to play free tonight. Plus, this versus a division opponent that they've had trouble with recently. So all that factors into me. Plus, these 2 teams play again, I think, in a week or so. So I believe the Cavs will probably punt this game. The Bucks are a big favorite for a reason. We got to read into the line. So I believe they're going to punt this game away and try to get them back the next game. But as far as this, I'm on the Bucks, and I'm going to take Brook Lopez over 2.5 blocks. It's at plus 100, I believe, right now. He's hit this in 3 straight games. And I also have it tied in with another parlay we'll talk about later. But that is a single bet for me for Brook Lopez. And I'm on the Bucks first half. What number did you give me at?
What was the number you got on the 2.5 blocks?
Yes. Plus 100.
All right, I see. Plus 100. All right. I love it. Love it coming in with the blocks and steal routes there. Those are things that it's like there's so many things to dig into that I'm novice at some of those other aspects. And then you say it and I'm like, I like that look. So I mean, it sounds great to me.
I got one for you later that you're gonna love. Watch.
I love parlaying these things together. We cashed it last night, and I love it at the end of the night, especially because it's something fun to kind of watch and cheer for as you're kind of keeps my mind occupied so that I'm not just trying to live bet away anything I won for that day. So but I like that first half look too. What was the trend that you had on that thing? I missed it.
They're 16-7 against the spread in the first half at home. 7-3 against the spread in the first half, their last 10 at home. Now, the Cavs are 82 against the spread in the first half, last 10 as well. But I just believe that they're on the road versus a division foe that wants to get revenge against them. And like I said, the coach is gone. Players can play free tonight. So I believe it's a bug spot. And I like their full game as well. I'm just not personally taking it, but hey, I endorse it.
Yeah, so I'm jumping on that route, and I'm gonna tell you on that one as well. I'm laughing because it's like I kind of came in light with the NBA, and here we go. But I saw an interesting spot. So we've been fortunate on the show to cash quite a few Cleveland spots, kind of minimizing the injury factors because those guys have been injured for so long through the season. It's kind of like old hat now, and they're used to it. So it's kind of like, okay, what's next? And they've been battling, and it looks like again 8 straight games that they've come out there and won. In the last 5. They only trailed by a single point in total of all 5 of those games. And this is where I'm going with this one. Only time the database has had it has been 3 other times that a team has gone on a 5-game stretch tailing by less than 2 points. And they've gone out there and they've lost all 3 of those games against the spread. So that was an opportunity for me where I thought that's kind of a creative one there where we see a team battling back. Couple that with the change in the guard with the coaching. And I think that's just enough motivation for them to find a way to get this team at a reasonable price right now, too, at that -6.5. So I'm going to jump on that. I'm going to tell you what the first half, but my official is going to be the 6.5. And then I will add, I'm not going to, I certainly will tail, but I'm not going to take any credit for your play out there. I love that trend. I had to write that one down so I can take advantage of it later on down the line with these Milwaukee Bucks. But I love that look. So it looks like we're going double dipping on this one here. And I like it personally. I'm excited about having that action. So love the coaches being fired angle. I know Kelly V and I talked about that with hockey in a lot of spots. And it just seems to be that the restrictions are loosened up a little bit. Everyone's a little happier to come. Imagine having to come back to the arena and, just like going to work with a boss that you hate every day. Like you got to go to a meeting and sit with your boss you can't stand. You just don't want your body language sucks. You have a bad look on your face. You just don't want to be there. And I think this is an opportunity for things to get just a little looser. Now, they might regress back to who they currently are, but it's only right that Doc Rivers comes out there and the Sixers get a chance to face Doc Rivers after he shit the bed with them last year out there for the NBA championship. Or the NBA conference final. So we'll see what happens out there, but let's go. Let's talk about this next game. Trail Blazers and the Rockets here. We've got Houston at home. LJ's Houston Rockets. I was thinking of one specific play as I was writing this game down, and I had opened at 9. We've got 10s and 11s out there, 41% of the bets, but 82% of the cash. So the bigger bettors like this Rocket spot, and the books are showing concern that the Rockets might be in play. The back number opens up at 221.5, has kind of fluctuated here. It looks like it's kind of across the board. So you're going to want to line shop 38% of the bets, but 83% of the cash. Think we got a lower scoring game here, LJ. How do you feel about this one? Are we going to go back and ride with these boys? What are you doing?
Yeah, I believe it's going to go under as well. I got a couple of different things I'm doing in this game, Mike. So we're going to be here for a minute. First of all, the Rockets are back home, man. And I love when they play at home. We already know how they are at home. They are, what are the Rockets at home? 15-7-1 against the spread at home. 7-3-1 against the spread as a home favorite. They're the biggest home favorite tonight. So I believe that they will cover the spread first quarter, first half. Now, personally, I'm just going to take the first half. It's at -6 right now. So I believe they will be up by more than 6 points at the halftime, simply because Portland is 2-8 against the spread in their last 10 games in the first half on the road, 1-4 last 5, 3-7 last 10. Now, they are 5-2 against the spread with no rest on back-to-back. That's number 1 in the NBA. So I don't know. They may cover this 10. It may be a closer game in the fourth quarter as we may think. But I think the Rockets come out early just because they're getting some players back in that lineup as well that didn't play the last game. So plus they're 11-4-1 against the spread at home versus the West. So I may jump in live and take it just to see. We'll be on live with Dutch and Cab doing the game. So if I see the Rockets having a substantial advantage, I will jump on it live. But as far as pregame, first half -6. Now, I'm going to jump on my man Alfred Sengun tonight, Mike. We're going over 10.5 rebounds, -130. He's had that his last 2 games. And Portland has given up double-digit rebounds to the last 6 centers they have faced. All 6 centers, Mike, had at least 12 rebounds. So I believe Sagoon gets that rebound prop easily. And I'm going to take his over 1.5 blocks at plus 275 just because he's averaged 7 blocks 3 out of his last 4 games versus, well, no, he's had 7 blocks total 3 out of his last 4 games. He's averaging 3 blocks in the last 3 games versus Portland. Mind you, Portland gives up the most blocks in the NBA. Holmgren had 6 last night. Miles Turner had 5. All the top centers. Gobert had 3. So I believe that Sagoon will get that block prop tonight simply because of Portland allows the most blocks in the NBA. And we're going to jump on the Rockets first half minus the 6.
Love it. Love it. I'll tell you what. I'm certainly going to follow this. I'm going to add the Rockets on the full side here for me with this one. Similar game profile. I'm going to tell you first half. I'm going to add to it the full game, and I'll track the full game for this thing because very similar, profile to a couple of games that we've had this week already. We've cashed on the New Orleans Pelicans yesterday, where they've got that unrested road team factor. We cashed on the day before with the Kings as well. This one doesn't entirely fit the model, but home teams with multiple days rest are 22-3, and they're winning those games by 8 points against the spread if they got a team with no rest, and the average lines between +8 and -8 on those spots. So in a situation where they're saying they should win and the team comes in with no rest, they do handle the spread out there, and they're winning those games. We're typically seeing a final total between 121 to 109 or so. So I'm going to jump in, especially now that this number's come down. Actually, I guess it's gone up, hasn't it? Let's see what the best number is I can get. 10 looks like the best number that's out there.
I see 10.
So I'm going to take the 10. I'm going to go Houston. I'm going to official ad for me for the show, Houston -10. And I'm going to tell you your first half as well. I love those looks.
Let's get it.
Live on that. I tell you what, that sounds like a same gamer with me, with your boy Sangoon there. I love what I like about what you're doing with that rebound prop and the block prop is, you're going for the big payday. You're trying to turn, 2 units into, almost 4 units. And you're doing it by a play that's really right around player averages. So, maybe you go 1-on-1 and it's even and it was no harm, no foul. But that's how you get the big score, you guys. You got to take some of these stabs at this stuff. And when these averages line up and you see the conference totals and how these teams average up against positions, that's how you stand and bang. So let's go for our guy, LJ. And let's move on to the Suns game. We got the Suns and the Mavericks. Mavericks fresh off of screwing me. Not winning that game at the +2.5 against the Celtics, I believe it was. We've got this line open at 1.5, +1.5, now sitting at 2.5. But line shop this thing because 58% of the bets, 72% of the cash on the Suns. The total, on the other hand, open at 240.5, has moved up to 242, and now we're seeing some buyback. 54% of the bets, 86% of the cash on the under in the Suns game, LJ. Again, 8:30 start here on the East Coast. What do you think about this game?
I think that the Suns are in play, Mike, and I'm on them. Definitely first half. I'm going to take the -1 just because the Suns are 4-1 against the spread in the first half, last 5 road games, 3-0 in their last 3. And interesting trend right here, Mike, that I got. The Suns are 15-8 against the spread in the first half versus the Western Conference. Biggest trend I found for us West, so I'm going to take that into effect as well. And not to mention, the Suns are 11-3 in their last 14 games, 6-0 since Beal, Durant, and Booker have been playing. So the Suns are on the road right now, and I'm not stepping in front of it. But Dallas does play well at home, especially in the first half, because they're 8-2 against the spread in the first half, their last 10 games at home. But I believe the Suns are rolling right now. I believe they're going to get some revenge versus Dallas because I think Dallas smacked them up the last game. So I believe that this is a spot that they've been waiting on. They have cohesion with their roster now. So I believe that we're going to see a great, valiant effort tonight for the Suns. Now, I got a couple of props, too, I'm going to jump on, Mike. I'm going to take Kevin Durant over 29.5 points, +100, because Dallas allows the second most points to the power forward position. Now, we've seen Durant the last 2 games. He's put up 40 plus, and I think he may do it tonight again. So I'm going to take the 25 plus Phoenix to win at plus 131, Mike. You can jot me down for that one. And I'm going to jump on Booker as well. He had a lackluster performance the last game. He had a bad game the last time versus Dallas. So I'm going to take his 20 plus points plus Phoenix to win at plus 104 because I believe both players are going to have to score tonight to get this win. I believe it. I'm going to run on it. We're going to watch it tonight. I believe this is my top play of the night right here. Suns first half minus the 1. Lock it in.
Love it. Love the combo factors as well. Going for it. Going for broke on this one. I love it. I jumped on this under. I looked at this under from this kind of supports your Sun side of things with the Mavericks. Mavericks 31-7 to the under when they're at home with a spread between 3 points of a pick 'em out there. So this number kind of falls right into that ratio. It's cashed 80% of the time, and it's gone 4 in a row for us with this spot. So Suns came off a lower scoring game the other day with the boys back in there. So I kind of felt like when they got all those guys hopping, they want to kind of control that pace a little bit. And they're not just looking to go out there and hoop. They're looking to kind of play a little clock drainage as well. So I love those spots. A friend of mine talked to me about Grayson Allen today. I couldn't pull the trigger on it, but he made a great point. He said, Grayson Allen's made 41 of 74 3-point attempts in 11 games this month. It's a little over 6.5 3-point attempts per game. And despite the fact that, the big three are running out there, he's still getting his looks. And you start double teaming those guys. He comes in off the bench. You got a Dallas team that allows 5 more points a game than average. Couldn't get there or not, but I just wanted to share those stats that I was able to accumulate with you guys. Over 2.5 threes for Grayson Allen's around even money out there. So for what it's worth, maybe that's a little opportunity to fasten together a same game parlay with some of LJ's props that he shared with us out there. But I like the under. I love what he's sharing with the first half, and I love those prop plays out there for our guy LJ there, giving us them looks. Let's go, baby. I love it. Let's go. We got the OKC Thunder, San Antonio Spurs, 9:30 start out there in San Antonio. Shout out to Southtown 101. And we've got this line opens at -8. We've got 66% of the bets, 42% of the cash on the OKC Thunder. Depending on where you're going, it's starting to drop a little bit. I see 8s out there. I see the back number open at 241.5. And it's pretty much still sitting there. There's not a lot of movement. 84% of the bets and 60% of the cash on the over. And look, short and sweet to the point for me, LJ. I'm going to take these Spurs with the points. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, I would take the Spurs and points as well. Definitely. But I just mentioned OKC and Portland are good on back-to-backs. But I believe the Spurs at home, I believe they could cover that 8. But I didn't take a side just because I don't bet the Spurs on the sides. They give up too many points. And OKC's on a back-to-back. So I don't know how motivated they will be to, come out and make a statement in this game. But this is where we're going, Mike. Get your pen ready. We're going to take Holmgren over 2.5 blocks plus 100. And we're going to parlay it with Wemby over 3.5 blocks at plus 100. That puts you at a plus 300 parlay. Both these players are top 3 in blocks a game. They're facing each other tonight. This is the rare opportunity that we could get both of these guys in the same game parlay with the blocks. So I believe that's going to be a casher. Now, for my parlay block, we'll wait to the end to do that one. But I am taking those two separately, as plus 100 plays, and I'm parlaying them together at a plus 300. That's my parlay block for this game right here.
I love it. I love the strategy because there's so much similarity in the way that we attack some of these props. When we see the spots that we like, it's like, let's attack them and let's go for that big score if we can get it, and we'll figure out a way to make it up if we fall short. So I love it. So you got Chet over 2.5 plus 200, Wemby over 3.5 plus 100, a plus 300 parlay. Yep. And anything else for this game?
No, that's it. I just took the two props. Like I said, I couldn't come to a side. Both teams, I don't see the motivation in either team trying to win. So
I'll tell you, I almost think, we talked about this with the Pistons game the other day, and it fell short. So full credit, I know it fell short, but Spurs might be a live dog in this one here for me. Thunder are 0-8 against the spread when they're on the road with no rest off a home game. So They're losing against the spread by 14 points. When you're on an 8, that gives them a 6-point margin for this game to be close, probably from start to finish. Underdogs that are facing an unrested opponent who won their previous game by fewer than 4 points are 32-10 out there, going all the way back to 2021. Another spot that kind of supports the Spurs to get this job done. And then last but not least, the Spurs are 24-5 at home off a road game facing that opponent with no rest if it's not the end of the season. So, kind of intertwines all those non-rest factors that show kind of all signs pointed to the Spurs for me on this one, +8. Wouldn't be mad at anybody that wanted to try to take that little sprinkle on the money line there. It's a nice little +265 spot, but I think +8 gets us that cash. I love the block props as well. Let's lock those in and let's go. We've got the last game on the card here, and then you boys and girls are going to want to go out and see Dutch and Dabby. Eljoy's going to join them. All about the hoops there. Wednesdays, Dutch and Dabby rocking college basketball and the NBA. We've got the Atlanta Hawks and the Golden State Warriors. Opens up at -6.5. A little bit of reverse movement here. Starting to see 6s for Golden State. 74% of the bets, 92% of the cash on Golden State, LJ. Then as far as the total, not much movement. 57% of the bets, maybe a half point down at this point, but 99% of the cash hammering this over in this game, LJ. It's a no play for me, but I'd love to hear what you have to say about this one.
Yeah, it was a no play for me as well. I think we don't get this rarely. This is a rare spot we get where something tragic happened in the team. So they had a long time to mourn, saying they only practiced maybe twice, I believe. So we don't know how Golden State's going to respond. They should respond well versus an Atlanta team that don't have two of their stars, Trae Young and DeAndre Hunter. Both of them are out. So it's all about Dejounte Murray. So if you want to take his points, I wouldn't talk you off of that. But far as a side, I just don't know how the Warriors are going to respond. Hey, they should come out here and smack Atlanta up, just because they've been off for so long and they're at home and they should be comfortable. They haven't had to travel or anything like that. So it should be a smack spot for the Warriors, but I'm like you. I just pass because I just don't know how they're going to respond to this game.
Yeah, and it's still a later game. There's 3 hours for this thing. Again, seeing that reverse, we're seeing reverse movement on both sides of this equation. So this one has to definitely kind of sit a little bit more. It has to marinate a little bit more before I throw it on the grill. So I hate to end it like that, but I just don't. You're right. This is one of those spots that just so when a quirky thing happens that's terrible, and the best thing to do is get back out there and do what you do, and kind of focus on what you can control in this point, which should be the Warriors coming out there and beating this ass. But they've just kind of shown that they've got a proclivity to not beat ass, and with the things that are going on there, at home they're just in a spot where they're just not their best ball for some reason. So we're going to pass on that game to wrap her up, but it's been a terrific card, LJ. Thank you for the looks, my guy. You got a whole onslaught out there. You fully came in to empty the clip with us, and we appreciate it. I know on behalf of this chat there, you've done good for us tonight. We got to get to the window, and I'm excited. I added quite a few spots that you had. I found myself another spot to add out of this thing as well. Love to talk the card out with you, my guy. Love them props. Love them totals. Sides.
I want to lead you with my block prop. I have another parlay block. We already talked about Holgram and Wembley. So this is what we're going to do. Sagoon, 1+ block. Lopez, 2+ blocks. Holgram, 3+ blocks. Wembley, 4+ blocks. 4-player parlay, that puts you at a +625 block parlay right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. All 4 of those players. Lock it in.
+625 parlay to close the night out, my guy. There we go. Man, you got yourself an exciting card tonight. I'm looking forward to watching along, cheering you on, tailing your action, and stacking cash, man. That was a lot of fun to go through that card. I know you bring them props, and I get excited about it. I get the smile. You got the trends. You got all the things that make a lot of sense to get it done. So thank you for doing your preparation and your homework. Let everybody know what you got going on, where they can find you, what's happening in the world of Houston's finest here, LJ from H-Town.
Well, they always can find me right there at LJ Sports Media on X. And also, in a few minutes, I will be joining Dutch and Dab on All About the Hoops. We're going to dive into these games and more. We're going to catch some live spots, talk out some more plays for the later games. So, hey, y'all kick back, enjoy Wednesday night, because this is what we do on Puff Sports Radio. We get to the cash and get to the bookies. So, hey, just joy. That's what I'm doing tonight. So, hey, everybody kick back and let's have some fun.
Respect, LJ. Appreciate you, man. I know we've been taking you away from your world of Raw Words podcast out there, but
yeah,
you've been doing man's work out here. I mean, my glass of water just turned into wine, so I'm hoping that we can get that money tonight, my guy. Let's go.
Hey, let's get it. I'll see you in a couple hours, buddy.
Sounds good, homie. I'll see you soon, man. Thank you much for everything you do. Appreciate my guy, LJ, rocking out there. Brian Watson says, go Bruins. You guys in the chat, great show today. Excited about the card that we've got out there. Dan Kelly says, Panthers up 1-0. Damn right. Let's go, Dan Kelly. What up, True Teller? Good to see you again, my guy. Ian Shaber. LJ unloaded and love it. I love when he comes in there. He got the trends to back it up. He's done the work so you don't have to. And that's what Last Call is all about, giving you guys them best looks to cook them books. And LJ's doing his best to help us get there tonight. North Ender, shout out to all you guys. Cheshire Cat, Liquor Store, Roland. He says under money. Florida over 6 minus 120 parlay for me. Let's go out there. Get that cash for everybody tonight. Voodoo Ranger says there was a fight. I missed a fight in the game. Bo Jackson, anyone on the Maple Leafs? Saw a bunch of Jets action, Bo Jackson. I'm on the under in that game. Guys, you can always go back, rewatch the show. We got a full card tonight. Kelly V's out there. Kelly V says Suns Dallas ABC TV game. Patrick Burns loves the over in San Antonio, OKC 242. Patrick, it's me and you, buddy. I'm going to lean on that under. Hopefully I get there. But if I don't, then hopefully you get there. So let's have ourselves tonight. Kelly V says leaning NHL, Arizona plus 200. Florida off dad's trip on Nashville. And Dan Kelly, I do that a lot. My theory is if a guy is in a game long enough to go over points, and he's also in there long enough to go over the rebounds and assists. Love it. I know I'm catching up backwards from the chat, so always great insight from our guy, Dan Kelly. Futon Bets, Liquor Store, Subhuman Gaucho, Mel's in the chat. I saw Jacqueline in there. The crew came out and represented again tonight. Appreciate everybody dropping by. You guys know the deal here. Make sure you go out there and like this video. Subscribe to Pub Sports Radio. Upgrade those memberships twice a week. They're doing them horse races for your shot to win $50. Of course, you get discounted merch out there. Help us build new content, bring new programming like our boys Dutch and Dabby about to pop off, all about the hoops. Go on over there. Tell them I sent you, and good luck with your cash tonight. Most of all, stay pubbing, baby. Let's go.